Facebook in just about a moment. Let's do that now. Let's go live over on Facebook as well. 3, 2, 1, the countdown. And we're live. We're live on Facebook. Hello, everybody on Facebook, all my family and my friends. And are you ready for this, Facebook? Are you ready? We're also live on YouTube. I'm streaming live on both channels, so welcome, everyone. God bless you. Today is January the 25th already, Wednesday, 2017. Sit right back and relax. And boy, what a ride we are on today, huh? What a ride so far since Inauguration Day. I'm going to talk about a few things this morning. There's a lot taking place in the world, a lot going on today. But what we need to understand, I think, is what we have to understand. You got so many on one side of the fence, negative. Christians, too, now. Seems like the more Donald Trump does and sticks to his campaign promises, the more this side of the fence is there's something coming. There's disaster coming in the stock market. We're going to go back like it was in the Great Depression. Then on the other side, we see Christian brothers and sisters and just people, God's people. Hey, Shawnee on YouTube, saying Donald Trump's fulfilling everything that he promised. Finally, we've got a president that wasn't just out there during the campaign trail running his jaws, promising everything under the sun to get elected, and then sit back and do nothing. He's making good on all of his promises. So we got two sides of the fence today, and that's what I want to discuss. And on, hey Abby, on Facebook, and Shawnee on live chat on YouTube. Hi Abby, and in both Facebook over here, and on YouTube over here. Be active in the comment box below, and what are your concerns with what's going on? We're looking at Bible prophecy too in the end times. So many people today they're just so stuck to what the media has ingrained in them for so many years, so long and so many years, but they actually believe. It's kind of like mind control. It's kind of like being programmed to believe in the establishment and the globalist, the elite that really do run, or they did, not anymore it appears, they did run the country, the United States of America. And I don't want to get real political, but I can. And this is to all of the pastors out there on Facebook, and ministers, pastors, evangelists, on YouTube as well, that you're part of the corporate church, the 501c3, which I think Donald Trump has made a statement, and we're going to have to see when that executive order comes forward. I'm looking in both directions, Facebook and YouTube, to undo what Lyndon Johnson did back in the 1950s. Then Senator Lyndon Baines Johnson, later to become President of the United States, had to come up with a plan because the church, going back to the very foundations of our forefathers, when they put together the Constitution, they did away with the old ways of the Queen, where they had the church had to pay a tax. Here, the church is already tax exempt, but they didn't know from the early time of George Washington and Benjamin Franklin. They were so used to being under the rule of the Queen. Those in the government back, our early forefathers, they didn't know what to do because the churches in the 1776 and the 1800s were paying the Queen's tax. So they just didn't say anything. Lyndon Johnson knew this, so he said, they have been so lost since the founding of our country that they're paying a tax. But now the churches in the 1950s were getting real outspoken. Listen to me, pastors, preachers. Listen to me just for a moment. Fake news. This is not fake news. This is real news. The church back in the early 1950s, they were starting to speak out and get very political. They were getting into politics and business of the government. And Lyndon Johnson, then a senator, he said, we got to do something. The church is getting into our politics, into our government here, and the way we are doing what Congress is putting through. The church is getting real nosy. They're speaking out against same-sex marriage. They're speaking out against abortion. We got to find a way to silence the church. Listen to me, pastors. I know there's a lot of pastors on Facebook. I know there's a lot of preachers on Facebook. I know there's a lot of Christians that go to your church, your corner church, the little white building on a Sunday. And maybe you can share this with your pastor. Hi, Dominic. Hey, Dominic, I love you. My grandson's in the room. Johnson said, they're already tax exempt, but, I can maybe pull this off. You got your back. This is, and I'm quoting this. Church of God, 501c3 corporate entities, listen to me. Stop throwing Jesus under the bus. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Hey, baby. Stop throwing Jesus under the bus. The church has already, since the foundation of the colonies, has been tax exempt, but they were given money. They thought they were still under the Queen's rule. And of course, the early government didn't say, well, we're just taking the money, they're paying us a tax. Johnson said, you got your stupid, dumb Southern Baptists, your hillbilly hick pastors. I'll come up with this plan. I'll tell them, if you form an article of incorporation and you become a corporate entity, and you have board members. That's why you see churches today with a secretary and a treasurer and elders and board members. If you become a 501c3 corporation, you can become tax exempt. He said, they're so stupid, they'll probably fall for it, and the church did. Hook, line, and sinker. Come out. Come out of her. Come out of the 501c3. I did a video earlier today talking about the plight of the homeless, where churches are being fined $12,000, Dominic. $12,000 because they're helping homeless people. They're feeding the homeless, or they're taking the homeless in on a cold night. That's because they have to bow down to the reverence, not of God, but of the state and the federal government. They've taken Jesus, they've thrown him under the bus, and made the head of their church the state and the federal government. And now it looks like Donald Trump is trying to undo what Lyndon Johnson did. And I had respect also for, I can't think of his name now. He was running, and him and Donald Trump always got into it. He was going to put an end to the 501c3 as well, along with the fake, you hear me? Let's get educated here. The fake non-government entity, another private corporation, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, not even part of the federal government. But I can feed the homeless. If I had a church, if I was blessed today, and Yahweh just poured out His Holy Spirit, and I was given a building, a church building, and where I could house the homeless, and have a kitchen with a soup kitchen where I could feed the homeless. I'm not part of the 501c3. I can't get fined. I cannot get fined because I came out of the 501c3. I am not going to throw Jesus under the bus. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Been there. Jesus is the head of my church. I'm not ruled by any penalties from the state or the federal government for not filing an article of incorporation. Hey, Brenda. Children of God Ministries, if I had the building tomorrow, the church building with the steeple for a fellowship and room to house homeless, to make a homeless shelter, I'm a legal entity. I'm a legal business separated from a corporation. I'm a business, DBA, doing business as Trumpet of God Ministries. We pay tax. I pay tax on every offering that comes into our ministry. And at the end of the year, now at this time of year, I'm sitting back and the wife and I are like, oh boy, it's tax time. I gotta pay the tax because I gotta pay tax on every offering and donation that comes in. But I follow the scripture. I'm not gonna sell out. Jesus, I'm not gonna sell him out and be part of the 50. I don't need to be tax exempt. The church is already tax exempt. So I'm not bound by any laws and guidelines and rules. I can feed as many homeless people on the street if I want to. Because I'm not bound by the 501c3 corporate church. If you wonder why I'm looking, if you're just tuning in, I'm live on Facebook over here. Hi, Facebook. Wow, what a room. What a lot of people in our room on the... How many we got on Facebook? Ben! Hey, Ben! Ben and Brenda and Dolores is on Facebook, and my grandson Dominic. I love him so much. He's so handsome. He looks like his dad. I mean, oh my goodness. I love you, Dominic. I miss you. Now I'm so excited. I see my grandson on Facebook. I don't know what to do. But I'm not bound by the 501c3, so I can, even though Trumpet of God Ministries is a legitimate business, we pay tax. I follow the scripture. When the scribes and the Pharisees tried to trip Jesus up, which they always did, they always try to catch him off guard, catch him on something. Talking about the Caesar and the tax, and Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is due Caesar, and render unto God what is due God. And that's what I'm doing. I gladly pay at the end of the year. Now, every end of the year around this time, we get hit with a big tax, so we just pray. But Father God finds a way, and he sees us through. But so I see a lot of things I haven't seen with career politicians. And, I don't know a whole lot. It's just the first week for Donald Trump. It's just the very first week. Very first week of his presidency. I don't know if he is going to turncoat and be terrible and crash our economy, or if he really is prophesied by God to give America another chance. But I see him doing what we haven't seen in the last 8 years, making change and keeping his promises. Now he's putting his foot down tomorrow, an executive order to not ban people from coming into this country legally. That's the legal process. What he's talking about are drug lords, drug kingpins, drug dealers, terrorists, not Muslims, not people of the Islamic faith, but are just coming in the legal way and being law-abiding citizens. Those with ties to Al-Qaeda, ties to ISIS, with terror plots. They're mingling in, and Barack Obama has just opened the borders for everybody to come in. It's to keep the criminals out, not to keep everyone out. But it's, I'm seeing a lot going on. Let me get caught up over here in YouTube. Chloe Lee, hi Pastor Dave. What are your thoughts on Trump pushing to work with Jerusalem? I see a connection that I haven't seen in a long time. We sure didn't see it with Barack Obama. And for all you Barack Obama fans, I know a lot of you still that are in the inner cities. I'm talking about Detroit, that I know of, and maybe Chicago. We're going to talk about Chicago in a moment. But are really struggling and really think that Barack Obama was going to help you, that you're in the same boat you've been in for the last 8 years, if not worse. I see a connection I never seen with anyone else, with Israel. Talk about a friend to Israel. I believe Donald Trump is a friend to Israel. He's talking about having the United States Embassy, the headquarters in Jerusalem. So, I mean, that's things we've never even heard about in a long time. Excuse me, it's a little cough. I'm trying to cut down on coffee, and I should have got some water. But Shawnee, I don't know why I talked so much. I didn't get what you were talking about. You check it to it. It's what's today? What's today? I don't think he was being Rick. I don't know. I don't think he was. He was not. He was not being sarcastic. I don't. I don't know where you get that, but let me see if I can find Shawnee's question. Oh, poor Shawnee. And there's Catania. Let me find out what's going on. Okay, Catania, I want to answer that question if I can. If I can, we got to understand we're no longer under the Old Testament law. Uh, we're now under grace. Pastor Dave, I hate to interrupt, but someone told me yesterday that if you're married to a divorced man, you are living in adultery. What are your thoughts on this when you have time? I don't. That's a controversial, a tough. Let me get back up here where I can see where I'm at. We're not under the Old Testament law, and that's like something we were talking about people with tattoos and how the scripture gets taken out of context and twisted. We're no longer under the Old Testament law, but if you are joined together with this person and you are legally married by law and in the eyes of God, and both of you are just love Jesus, you're born again believers. I think Father God, Yahweh's looking at your heart and your husband or your wife's heart, not the things of the past. We are to. How often does Jesus tell us to forgive and to let go of the past? So that's my belief on this topic. That's my belief that we're not under that law any longer, and what matters is the love you have for one another. And there we go. Let me get back up here. It's really hard. I'm trying to run both. Hello, South Carolina, Brenda. Brenda. Um, that's where I feel about that topic. And we got so much going on, so many questions in the chat room here. I hate to turn away from Facebook. I don't think I'll be on Facebook too long. I just want to touch on a few things that Donald Trump's doing and why the liberal left. I can understand the liberal left media because they're bought and paid for by the globalists, the George Soros, and they're funded. CNN, MSNBC. They're brainwashing the sheeple, the people. I can understand why Hollywood, they're all involved in the satanic rituals that they get deep into the Hollywood elite. They're like the elite globalists. They're super, super rich. You got Madonna wanting to blow up the White House, and you got this other one rambling on and making fun of uh, the way Melania Trump speaks. These people are super, super elite rich. Do you think they're going to help anyone, any poor person struggling just to get by, to get food on their table? The ones you watch, you pay your hard-earned money to go and watch their movies. Do you think they care? They don't care about you. If they did, they would be taking their money and they would be putting it into the inner cities, into the food, like in Detroit, Focus Hope and different organizations to help people get up on their feet and out of poverty and out of the system and become independent. You know how much money one Madonna could do to get poor Hispanic, poor black in the inner cities, poor white in the inner cities to put out a foundation so that they can get their educations, finish school. They're not putting their money there. They don't care about you. They just care because you've made them multi-millionaires. Let me get caught up over here. And that's what said. Donald Trump is trying to make a difference. He wants the crime stopped in Chicago. It's out of control. He wants to bring in the feds, and what that would be with the crime and the guns and the drugs in Chicago and Detroit. We're not talking martial law, so everybody just calm down, settle down. We're not talking martial law. To bring in the ATF, if the police will not do anything, and they won't in Chicago especially, to stop this violence and this murder, the murder rate is unprecedented. Then you bring in the Fed, the FBI, and the ATF, and they will take over your police precincts, and they'll get the job done. And stop the funding. That's what Donald Trump's saving America so much money. Stop the funding to the sanctuary cities. I think people, immigrants, need to have a place, a sanctuary to where they're safe while they're going through the process. But what we're talking about here is sanctuary cities. These cities, New York City and all the others that are complaining about Donald Trump, you on Facebook, you, the taxpayer on YouTube, you are giving them out of your paycheck billions and billions of dollars to these sanctuary cities while they're allowing not people and families that want a better life and want to be part of the American dream. We're not talking about, they're allowing these criminals in, murderers, killers, drug kingpins, people from that we can't vet. It's impossible. With the way Barack Obama opened all the borders, you can't vet them. You can't. ISIS extremist terrorist in. That's what he's talking about. Just cut off the funding. Cut off the tail. And it won't lag anymore. Alright, Shawnee. You should not divorce. No. What God has brought together, let no man undo. Oh, I don't want to tip my Facebook phone over. I'm on my phone on Facebook and here. Okay, all these pop-ups coming up, and I don't know if I don't think you guys can see that. Now we're going to talk about the border. He's going to sign that executive action. We got to make sure there's a difference. He's undoing. You know how many executive orders Barack Obama did to just rip this country to shreds? Donald Trump is undoing these executive orders, and he's bringing money in. He is bringing jobs in. He's bringing money and wealth back to America. You got China is worried now because they have been just going for a spoil with these disputed islands in the China Sea. That doesn't belong to China. It's not their property. What China is doing is no different than what Russia did when they went into Crimea and the Ukraine. And they know that Donald Trump is not Barack Obama. Donald Trump he's not going to mess around. So now they're worried. Will it bring us to war? I don't think so. Not with Donald Trump and rebuilding this military. He is stopping the borders to be overcome by Muslims and illegals and various countries cutting off funding. Yeah, and that is coming up. And, none of this is going to happen overnight, but what I have seen in just the first few days is something I've never seen before. Something that I've never seen before. And the left mainstream media, they do not, they worked hard. They've got a lot of money from the globalists, the elite. Here's a history lesson if you were watching and you're a young person. The United States of America, land of the free, home of the brave. I was talking about the 501c3 church. America has become a corporate entity, a demigod, a corporate business. It's not the land of the free anymore, but Donald Trump is undoing everything that this new world order, one world government, one world currency, which will become the mark of the beast. Believe me, we're right there in Bible prophecy, and a one world religion. This is what the left has been promoting. And I've never seen anything like it. But why can't people wake up? I want a good laugh. I go over. You want a good laugh? I go over and I look at the Huffington Post and I'll turn on CNN and I just about fall out of my chair. But it's the mind control. If you like being a little sheeple, a little experiment, a little mouse for the superpowers, the super rich, that don't care that you're barely getting by paycheck to paycheck, that you can't feed your kids tonight. They don't care. They're brainwashing you. You're like little lab mice to them. That how bad Donald Trump is and how good Hillary was, and we need a Barack Obama third term, and you think Hillary Clinton cares about you? Come on. All the women with their little cat ears, I about fall out of my chair. People, are you that stupid? I don't mean to be so bold, but right over the head. Come on. No other president has been treated the way Donald Trump has been treated, and that should wake people up. That should wake you up. He has really, really thrown a monkey wrench in the plans of the New World Order. And I'm worried about Donald Trump. I'm very worried. You got the Democrats, the Democratic Party. They dragging our national defense. Our national security is at risk because they won't. They're just dragging their feet with stupid nonsense questions to the people that Trump appointed to his cabinet. They're going through all of these questions that aren't even relevant to the job. Just they can't win anyway. There's two, the Republicans have overpowered now the Democrats in the Senate, so they're all going to pass. They're all going to get through, but it's, they're holding up the whole transition. It's just crazy. Let me see where we're at. Colombia. Trump will be out in 100 in what is it, 120 from inauguration because he is president of America. I don't know. I'm not going to buy into all of that. I'm not going to buy into that. I'm worried that he's going to be out with an assassin's bullet. That's what's really worrying me. When you're attacking, news media is attacking a child, and it's always been the business, the hands-off, children of... can you imagine if anyone said anything close to Michelle and Barack Obama's daughters, the way they did Barron Trump, a 10-year-old boy? It's unheard of. It's just sickening. Sickening. And the women, you got to understand, all of you sitting at home and on Facebook, sitting at home and cheering on CNN and the little women with their little pink hats and carrying their signs going down the street. You have all been brainwashed. You're listening to CNN, and like I said, you're under mind control. Little lab rats, the super offshore bankers, the globalists, the rich elite, the Hollywood elite, don't care about you. It's all about their money and to bring about a new world order and a one world government. And just the way that they acted, just the hate that spewed out of their mouth, the filth and filthy language, I don't know. Oh my goodness, I don't know. Today, the stock market, now, this never happened it never happened in history. Now, the Dow Jones hit over 20K. We should be celebrating, but now you got Christians on Facebook. Oh, well, that's Donald Trump. He's going to be the beginning of the end. Where do you get this stuff? First time in history, and that's because finally we see a ray of hope, Jesus and light, a beacon shining in the night of hope to bring money back to this country. $20 trillion in debt. 19 going to $20 trillion in debt when Trump took office. Jobs are coming back. the big three automakers, Ford, Chrysler, GM, are going to start building here. If you're from Detroit, if you're from Chicago, it doesn't matter what city you're from, especially Flint, Vehicle City. I'm in Flint every day. It used to be a city that flourished. Vehicle City, General Motors, Chrysler, Detroit, Ford. They all left. They all left and took their jobs to other countries, to Mexico. Trump's brought them all back. Can you imagine Flint, Michigan, Southwest Detroit? Cass Corridor of Detroit, West Grand Boulevard and 4th Street. Alive. Flourishing. Remember old Fleetwood Cadillac for my friends from my neck of the woods in Southwest Detroit. Remember the old Fleetwood plant? The Cadillac plant. Flourishing. People actually able to pay their bills again. Flint coming back to life. That's what Donald Trump is doing. The elite that want a new world order don't want America. They don't want one localized state. They want a new world order. They got to make America crash. They got to bring about disease and poverty to collapse America. Trump's undoing all that. All the people you're cheering for and hating on Donald Trump for are the ones that want to keep you down. They want to keep you sick. They want to keep you over-medicated. They want to keep you under-educated. They want to sicken you with chemtrails. They want to fluoridate you with the fluoride in the drinking water, the lead in the water, your toothpaste. They want you sick and dependent so then they can just pull the rug out from under you. Trump wants to give you some hope. Amen? Hey, Lawrence. Hey, Lawrence. So I'm just preaching a little bit today. So, and with the pipeline and the Dakota pipeline, and I understand a lot of the concerns, but we got to look at it this way: the tribes and there's a lot of protesters, but we don't know what Trump's going to do. But we do know that the steel for the pipeline, you know how much money it's going to bring to the United States to not be dependent on foreign oil. You know how much people are going to go back to work? The Native Americans out there, I understand their concern about the pipeline going underneath the water and contaminating their natural resources. I'm Native American too. My blood runs from French Canadian to the white man likes to say, because I can't say the name right, back in the early days before they slaughtered my brothers, Chippewa, but they couldn't say Ojibwe, and that's part of my heritage. So I understand them. I understand. But the federal government was going to give them billions of dollars. Now they're going to reroute the pipeline. Now they're upset they don't get the billions of dollars. So, I mean, there's more to everything that you're being told. So I don't know. Let me see where we're at. It's hard to get caught up. America turned into a pit bull fighting. I think if things stay the way they are, I'm very concerned about Donald Trump. I'm very, very concerned about Donald Trump's safety. A lot of, all this bad talk about Donald Trump and his past and being a groping women and being a womanizer. But you don't, and everybody for Hillary. And the Democratic side were just, he's terrible, he's a racist, and, all the nonsense. But they never mentioned Bill Clinton, his crimes of sexual immorality against women, and talk about groping women. I don't even want to say any more than Monica Lewinsky. And even John F. Kennedy, with his affairs in the White House, and his love affairs, with Marilyn Monroe. But if it's Donald Trump said so, he never did anything, never acted on anything, but you just say something off camera like guys will do. Guys will just boast and brag, not really mean that they ever did anything like that. boy, they want to swoop down on him. It's like the church ladies coming up over the hill with their torches and their talons out. That's because society today has been lied to by your government. You've been lied to. The mainstream media has pulled the wool over your eyes for so long. They want to keep you sick. They want to keep you uneducated. They want to keep you medicated. They want to keep you fluoridated. They want to spray chemtrails down to you. Well, them aren't chemtrails. Yes, they are. To make you sick. Well, they hold on to the technology, advancements of technology, while people are running marathons for a cure, wearing yellow ribbons and pink ribbons, while Jerry's kids, I used to watch the Jerry Lewis telethon when I was just a young kid, for muscular dystrophy, and all of these young kids that when I was a young kid, now they're in their 60s and 70s, there is no cure. There's not going to be a cure. They have a cure. They have a cure for all of these diseases, but it's big money. The federal government and the Fed, I'm telling you, the big pharmaceutical companies. You think they're going to give you this advanced technology? They have it for themselves. Why do you think people like George Soros and all these people are living to be 111 years old? And they don't have cancer. There's no money in the cure. There's money in drugs. That's why Donald Trump, that's what they're worried about. He's going to take the advancement in technology that you don't even know exists. All of you on Facebook think this Pastor Dave is crazy. We don't have a cure for uncurable diseases. You want to bet? They're not going to give it to you. There's money in keeping you sick. There's money in pharmaceutical drugs. The drugs that you take for your arthritis will give you a little bit of ease of the pain of the inflammation while they're making you sicker, causing liver damage, causing cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do you ever listen to a commercial for the latest drug out for arthritis or for whatever ailment you have? That can cause a blood clot, it can cause seizures, it can cause a stroke. You can have a massive heart attack, you can have tears into your stomach, and you can bleed to death internally, but you won't have a headache. There are cures. People are going to run and they're going to walk for a cure that's never going to be unless we put our foot down, unless we give Donald Trump a chance, maybe a chance. Because what I understand, he's going to bust it wide open. He's going to bust it wide open. There's so much divide in the country because people are dumbed down. There should be no division. If people would just sit back and say, well, let's give this guy a chance. Because everything he's talked about, look, the money that's coming back, the unions are meeting with him. The automotive companies, Mexico, the United Kingdom, they're in awe that, wow, we ain't never seen anything like this before. They're worried. He doesn't want to outsource. He wants America to be rich. Isn't that what we all want? You think Hillary Clinton would bring about that type of... Are you kidding me? She would just be richer. Well, you were made poorer. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. It's dumbing down, Lawrence. It's dumbing. It's been a long division, but now I've never seen the hate against one man like Donald Trump. That hasn't done anything, but good so far. Good. He wants to get working on the border, and I believe we do. We got to have a secure border. We do. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out what else is going on in the news today. More attacks on the homeless, and I think we should just give Donald Trump, give him a chance anyway. Just give him a chance. That's what I believe. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. No, people are following. Even Fox News is about as close as you're going to get to unbiased news. But you got your Shepard Smith. You got your far liberal left Democrat shills government shows and plants, even in Fox News. You got Shepard Smith, and thank you, Jesus, that Megyn Kelly's gone. She needs to go home to where she belongs with the nutcases, the super rich elite. And you got the other one that I can't even think of his name right now on Fox News. That he was the moderator for between Hillary and anybody think of his name? Between Hillary and Trump. He's from Fox News. Is it Chris Wallace? There's another one, another Trump hater. They're in there like plants. You know what I mean? But anyway, I love you guys, and a lot of things are going on in the world today, and a lot of stuff, and we just need to. I don't know. I want to go home. I'm just ready to leave. I'm just there is no trigger point for the rapture of the church. I just want to go home. I'm tired, and pray for our ministry. The reason I'm here at noon, if I'm here at noon, our ministry is hurting, and we just don't have the ability to go out and to do what we need to do on Facebook. If you follow me on Facebook, go to my page. It's Backpacks for the Homeless, Trumpet of God Ministries, Backpack for the Homeless. And help us out if you can, and on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Okay, that just happened, huh? Wonderful. The Chicago violence, if they don't stop, he's going to send in probably the ATF and the FBI, which he should. He should. He's going to stop funding these sanctuary cities, and he should. Now, all of these things that Trump is doing, if it was Obama, they would, CNN and MSNBC and CNN, the Clinton News Network, they would be praising Obama, praising him. But since it's Trump, and he's disrupting the plans of the New World Order, I'm worried about Donald Trump. I'm really worried about Donald Trump. All right, Chi-Town's 07. We won't tell on you. Take your break. Take a coffee break. But I love you guys. If you can support our ministry different ways, always in our links below or to our website, trumpetofgodministries.com. I monetize my videos because it helps. Every little bit helps. If you see the little ad running across it, they're annoying. If you click on it once, that helps our ministry. And then just come back and watch the video. Every little thing helps. And on my YouTube page, if you go to my page, you'll see fan funding. If you like the video, and you can make a donation to our ministry that way. It's freezing out. It's cold out. I am heading back out, but it's so difficult. And just pray for this ministry. And I want to thank all of you for praying for my wife Christy's dad, Ted. I don't have an update right now. I don't. We're just praying. 83 years old, and I know he's in ICU and very critical. So please just keep him in your prayers today. And I love you guys, and I'm going to come back tonight. Probably I'm going to be here throughout the day. I'm not, I'm just really getting worried. I'm worried about the times that we're living in. Hey, Pia, you're coming in as I'm signing off. I love you, sister. I love all of you so very much, and I'm just waiting for talk about Trump. I'm waiting for that trumpet to sound. I just want to go home so badly. I want to go home so badly, so stinking badly. That's not our home. We're here for a reason. We're here for such a short time. Be good to one another. Love one another. Hug your husband. Hug your husbands. Love your wives. Wives, love your husband. Love your children. Give them a hug today, because tomorrow's not promised. If you're not saved, you need. If you think that nothing's different than it was 100 years ago, and we're not living in the end times, you've got a lot of time to keep on sinning. You don't. The handwriting's on the wall. The clock is ticking down. It's about to strike the midnight hour. No one can save you but Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. He is the only way. No religion can save you. If you're into Mormonism, come out of her. If you're into Catholicism, come out of her. Throw lifeless religion away. If you are into Buddhism and Hinduism and uh, all these Islam, only Jesus can save you. You got to come out of lifeless religion and have a relationship with the Father and call upon Him. You don't need to go to church and to an altar call with all the eyes on you, feeling obligated to get up there to say a few words of the sinner's prayer. I like to call it the winner's prayer. All you need to do is to cry out to the Father and ask Him to forgive you and know that on the third day He rose Jesus from the grave. Know this. Believe this in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is the Lord over your life and you shall be saved. Call upon Him. I'm pleading with you. I'm begging with you. I'm begging you to call on Jesus. If you don't know Jesus, accept Him today and watch your life change. Your life will change. It will never be the same. It will never be the same again. I promise you. Do away with the old self. Have your sins washed white as snow. And watch God work in your life. I love you. God bless everybody.